Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to go over all of the things that I wish I knew before I had my gastric sleeve. And if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I would really appreciate a thumbs up on this video, and go ahead and click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. And now let's get into it. So to back things up a little bit, and in case you are new to my channel, I did have my vertical sleeve gastrectomy done on June 17th, 2019. I am just a little under 2 months out from my surgery now. Today is August 12th, 2019, so almost 2 months out since my surgery. And before I had my surgery done, I did research and research and research and research. I researched the heck out of this procedure to make sure it was really something that I wanted to go forward with. And of course it was. I did end up having the surgery done, but there are definitely a few things that I did not know about going into my surgery that was going to happen to me, or that I was going to have to do. So I thought I would go ahead and talk to you guys about those today. And I did watch a bunch of these videos, and these are still some things that I noticed throughout my journey that other people hadn't noticed, or I don't think they noticed, at least the people that I watched. Yeah, so I thought this would just be a really fun video. Feel free to add things that you didn't know about your vertical sleeve gastrectomy down in the comments below. Anything that I talked about that you did know, let me know about that too. But let's go ahead and jump right into my little list here. All right, so the first thing that I did not know that I was going to have to do to myself after having my vertical sleeve gastrectomy was I was going to have to give myself shots. Yes, you have to give yourself shots after surgery. Probably not every single doctor requires you to do this, but I've heard from a lot of people, and I believe a lot of people were required to do this. So just so you know, that is definitely a possibility going forward if you haven't had your surgery yet, and that's something that you're looking into. But let me just preface by saying it's not a big deal. It is not a big deal at all. When you hear that you have to give yourself shots, I was like, what? Maybe I don't want to do this. But like I said, it is not a big deal at all. The reason you have to give yourself shots is for blood thinning, because when you have surgery, any type of surgery, so it's probably not even just sleeve gastrectomies that you're going to have to do this. If you have any kind of surgery, I bet this is something that you're going to have to do. So if you've had any kind of surgery, this might be something that you are familiar with, but you need to thin your blood out because surgery increases your risks of blood clots. So by giving yourself these blood thinning shots, I think it's called Lovenox, that just decreases your risk of getting a blood clot. So I did one in the hospital the day after my surgery, and then once I got home, I had to do the shots for 3 days in a row. And you give your shots like kind of on either side of your belly button, basically, I think is where I gave them, and you kind of have to alternate each day doing it on different sides. The needle is super small. It's so small. And these are a prescription. Your doctor or your surgeon will send the prescription over to the pharmacy for you, and you have to go pick them up. And they weren't terribly expensive. Like I said, I think I got 3 of them, and with my insurance, I maybe paid $10 or $15 for them. So definitely didn't break the bank or anything. Wasn't that big of a deal. But the needle is super small. And when I was in the hospital, the nurse did help me learn how to administer it to myself because I'd never done it before. But like I said, I was so nervous. I don't really like getting shots and getting pokes in general. I'm okay with it now. Like I don't not go to the doctor because I think I'm going to have to get a shot or a blood draw or anything. But when I was younger, I really had a hard time with it. But I'm giving it to myself. That was a different story. But because the needle is so small, and there is, of course, quite a bit of padding down there in my belly button region, it really didn't hurt. The thing that kind of hurt a little bit more than the actual poke was the medicine. It burned a teeny tiny little bit. It really wasn't that big of a deal, but that was definitely something that kind of just threw me for a loop when I was at my pre-op class, my big 3 or 4 hour long class that I had to take. They mentioned that this was going to be something that I was going to be having to do. I kind of freaked out a little bit. Wanted to let you guys know that if this is something that you're interested in doing, that it might happen to you, and it's not a big deal. It is not a big deal. You will hardly feel it. The needle is so small, so don't even stress about it if this is something that you have to do. All right, moving on to the second thing on my list here. All bariatric plans are different. And I've only found this out because I am in a Facebook group with a whole bunch of different people that also got sleeved in June. And that's been such a helpful group. So a little side tip, see if you can find a group on Facebook that is specific to your month or your, maybe like the summer or fall or whatever, but a smaller group of people that are all going to be going through the procedure around the same time. That has been a great group. I really enjoy being a part of that group in particular. It's been super helpful, but people bounce around a whole lot of different menu ideas, and if they have a question about something, it's just great. But I have noticed that there is such a wide range of bariatric plans. Like I feel mine is like on the most strict side. People in that group, and I'm not saying that anybody that's following their plan, it's a wrong plan. It's just very different. And you would think that there's maybe a little bit more cohesiveness, a little bit more similarity from doctor to doctor within a bariatric program, but there is really a wide range of different things. Like people on day 2 were eating applesauce. I can't have any fruit until like month 3 or 4. So that's been very different. Just a whole lot of different things like that, just different things that you can eat. And I feel like my plan is super strict. I can only eat protein. Like the first month, or really like the first 5 weeks, it was protein only for me. I couldn't even have vegetables. And I know other people were being able to eat vegetables earlier. And maybe some people just weren't following their plan. I don't know. Maybe I'm not accusing anybody of that, but that might be true as well. But from what I've seen, plans vary quite a bit as to what you can eat, when you can start eating what, the different requirements as far as how much protein you need. And then another thing that I found weird, and my plan is the only plan that I've found to be like this, but everyone else that I've seen, like literally every single other person that I've heard or talked to about having this surgery, you can't drink 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after you eat. But on my plan, I can eat or I can drink all the way up until I eat. So as soon as I take that first bite, I'm not supposed to drink anymore, but I can drink right up until that bite. But then I cannot drink until 90 minutes later. 90 minutes, that's an hour and a half. And I gotta say, that is one of the things that I have been really struggling with, just because my mouth gets super dry when I'm eating. I just want to drink, and I'm trying to get all my 64 ounces of water in a day. And still, even at this point, that is very difficult for me to get the full 64 ounces in every single day. So if I were to say that I'm cheating on any little part of my plan, it would be just with water, because I have taken a few sips it's not long after I eat. I try to just take tiny little sips, and then I try to go like at least an hour before I really start to drink again. But that has been difficult for me. And like I said, every other plan that I've heard is 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, not all the way up until you eat and then 90 minutes after. I feel like that's just insane, but I try to do it as best as I can. But yeah, there's a lot of different discrepancies on different plans. So if you do join a group, trust what your doctor says over what maybe somebody else says, if it's, contradicting what your doctor says. But just know that there's so many different kinds of bariatric plans out there. All right, number 3, anesthesia is no joke. And I know I talked about this in my 1 week update, but oh man, I was thinking it was going to be like a walk in the park. Like, I'm not even joking. I was very confident that I was going to have no issues whatsoever waking up after surgery, getting up, going to the bathroom right away, washing my face, putting on some moisturizer, because I remember I could not put moisturizer on the night before my surgery, so I was like super dry. But nope. I brought this huge bag of toiletries, like I said, moisturizer, deodorant, body wash. I brought shampoo, dry shampoo. I brought everything. Only used my toothbrush and my toothpaste like the morning after my surgery, because it knocked me out. Oh my gosh, I was like completely knocked out. I literally could not open my eyes for more than 1 second at a time for like 8 or 9 hours after surgery or something like that. It was crazy. And they tell you that you need to walk the halls after surgery too. Of course, that is to prevent blood clots, and that is super important, and I should have done it. But I walked like 3 or 4 doors down, came back to my room, and I just couldn't walk anymore, because I don't know, I was so out of it. It was just such an odd experience. So if you've never been under anesthesia before, just know that you might be a lightweight like me. And they did tell me that I was a lightweight, and that not everybody reacts this way, but you could be a lightweight and not even know it. Like that's what happened with me. So if I have to go under the knife again and be put under anesthesia, I'm really not looking forward to it because, like I said, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be nothing and I'm gonna be completely fine. No, I wasn't. All right, moving on to number 4. The pain can be intense. And again, everybody is different, but I keep hearing a lot of people saying that I had watched videos of before I had my surgery. Pain's not a big deal. Pain was very minimal, not a big deal. Whew, man, for me, it was a big deal. It really, really was. I feel like I have a pretty decent pain tolerance in general, but oh man, and they gave me Norco and I took some, but I probably only took like 3 or 4 of them because it did nothing. It did nothing to help me with that pain. I don't know that I'll ever forget it. Okay, so let's see. Childbirth, natural childbirth, which I have done, or this pain that I had, oh, I gotta say it's almost a toss-up because childbirth was over really, really quick for me. This pain lasted a week. So that was awful. And I will preface by saying that it wasn't a continual pain. It was only when I moved. So if I was sitting still, if I was not doing anything, I was fine. And the pain for me was right at my main incision site, which is like my left kind of lower abdomen area. I have 5 other incisions. Those didn't hurt at all. But anytime I tried to get up, turn around, move any kind of way, that area right where that incision was so incredibly painful. And that's the reason that the Norco I don't think worked, because it wasn't like a continuous pain, like a headache kind of pain, or like, a throbbing joint kind of pain or something, which I think Norco would help with, but no, it did nothing. So I just kind of, after like day 2, I said, screw it. Why am I taking this? I know it's not good for me. So why am I going to take this if it's literally doing nothing? And the pain for me was literally at the same level for the first 7 days. Like it didn't like decrease in intensity for the first 7 days. It was awful. But then like by like the 7th or 8th day, it really, really diminished. So it went down really fast. It just lasted a really long time. So again, I don't mean to scare anybody, but just know that that might be an option. But from what I've heard, most people say that it's not a big deal pain-wise. Moving on to the 5th thing that I wish I knew before I had my gastric sleeve, and this is a big one. This is stalls will happen, and they will happen way earlier than you expect. So the first week that I was out of the hospital, I lost, I think like 9 pounds or something. And now 2 months out, I've lost 22 pounds since my surgery. But the first week I lost quite a bit of it. And then from weeks 2 to 4, didn't lose a thing. Not a thing. So frustrating, right? You would think that you're eating, at that point I was eating like 400 calories a day. Why was I not losing weight? Made no sense to me, right? Made no sense. But your body's kind of going into starvation mode at that point. It's trying to conserve every single pound because you are not giving it anything into your body. You're not replenishing any of the calories that you're burning at that point. At a really, really intense rate because you're eating so little. So I think it was really around 16 days. And for those 16 days, I just bounced around the same like 2 pounds, I think. It was so frustrating. But like I said, I'm in that Facebook group and so many other people were in the same boat. So it is a very, very common thing. If it happens to you, you can get frustrated. I'm not saying don't get frustrated because it is frustrating. And just mentally, like, it just doesn't add up that that's what would happen, but because your body is trying to conserve everything, that's why. But just stay the course. Stay the course. Just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. Don't give up. Don't give in to the donuts your husband brought home for him and the kids. Stay the course. Do what you're supposed to be doing, and it will pass. And now here I am almost 8 weeks, or right about 8 weeks out post-op, and I'm pretty sure I'm in another little stall, or little, I guess, because it's only been less than a week for me at this point compared to those 16 days. Hopefully this one is not as long. I have heard too that around this time, around the 8-week mark, another little stall is common. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going through right now. Before surgery, I didn't realize that stalls happen so early. I thought they maybe happened at like the 6-month mark. You'll lose, very continuously, for the first 6 months, and then you'll hit a stall. No, 2 weeks. And I stalled out. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, stay the course, do what you're meant to be doing, and you'll get through it. All right, here we go with number 6. We just got one more after this. And this one is definitely a little bit TMI, but I feel it's important to talk about, especially if you're a woman of childbearing age. So you can guess, we're talking about periods. Yes. Your period is going to be all kinds of messed up after surgery. And I would assume it's probably the same for any kind of abdominal surgery because, of course, doing a sleeve gastrectomy, they did not mess with my reproductive system at all, but it still got a little messed up. And to top it all off, I have a Mirena. And a Mirena, in case you're not familiar, is an IUD, and it has hormones, and it really has made my periods so much more bearable the last few days, or the last like 2 years that I've had it almost. So I was quite surprised that my period was so messed up after I had my surgery. I think I got my first period after surgery maybe 3 or 4 days after my surgery, so it happened pretty fast. But because I do have the Mirena, my periods are pretty light. I will say the Mirena is not perfect. I can make a whole video on the pros and cons of Mirena, but we're not talking about that now. But my period does last a really long time. It's like 14 days. I know. It's awful. But because my period is so light, I don't mind it so much. It did what I asked it to do because my periods were completely horrendous before I had it put in. But the first period that I had after I had my surgery, my period was very, very heavy. So just letting you know that is definitely something that can happen with this surgery. And like I said, probably any surgery. And in that Facebook group that I'm in, a lot of people were asking about their periods and noticing that they were a little wonky, they were doing weird things, but hopefully now as I continue to lose weight, my periods will get lighter and lighter even, and shorter, crossing my fingers. The second period that I had, I've only had 2 since I had my surgery. The second period, I think it was a little bit heavy as well, not as bad as the first one, but it was a little bit more on the heavy side, but it was shorter. I think it was only 9 days, so yay! I know, a 9-day period sounds terrible to most of you, I'm sure, but for me, that was pretty good. So I just want to let you know, if you do get a period, it's probably going to be a little wacky at first. All right, so the 7th and very last thing that I wish I knew before I had my gastric sleeve was that I would get off my meds very, very quickly. So in case you haven't been following my story, I was on blood pressure medication. I was on 3 of them. Kind of 2, but kind of 3. One was like a combo pill at one point, and then they split it into 2 because of the blood pressure medication recalls that were happening. So at the time of my surgery, I was technically on 3 different blood pressure medications. And in the hospital, I had the medications like normal. My blood pressure was normal with medication, and I continued after I got home to take those medications, without issue, until I think it was day 7 or day 8 after I'd had my surgery. My blood pressure went whoosh! Really, really low. I remember this was the day I was taking my daughter to camp for the first time, and I remember coming back up. There's a big flight of stairs you have to go up, and I was like super dizzy, super nauseous, just felt kind of just very like discombobulated, like just my head was kind of spinning a little bit. I felt very strange. Took my blood pressure, realized whoosh, it was super low. So I was able to get on my blood pressure medication a week after, and I did not think it was going to happen that fast at all. And I have not taken my blood pressure medication since. I have been keeping up with checking my blood pressure every so often, and it has gone up a little bit. So I'm almost to the point where I need to call my doctor, I think, and ask her if I need to go back on it. Maybe just go back on one of them to kind of lower it a little bit. But I think I'm kind of in like that very, very pre-hypertensive, because it's really only a little bit above where it should be. But there for a while, it was like right where it should be, like 120/80. Now it's like 140/80. So I don't know, I probably should call, right? I probably should. Maybe I will do that tomorrow. But anyways, I did get off my blood pressure medication quite early. I was not thinking that was going to happen, because I remember I got off of it briefly in 2016. I had lost some weight. And then before I got pregnant with my daughter, kind of in that like 3 or 4 month time span, I didn't have to take my blood pressure medication. And I remember how much I weighed at that point. And I was thinking that I was going to not be able to get off this blood pressure medication that I had been on now until I hit that weight again. And I was not at that weight when I got off the medication, like the 8 days after my surgery. Unfortunately to say, I was not quite there yet, but I actually am now. So that's exciting. But like I said, my blood pressure is a little bit on the higher side, but it is what it is. So if you take blood pressure medication, and I've also heard the same thing with diabetic medication, you will get off them fast. I might have to go on it again, maybe, I don't know. But it did drop my blood pressure way too low, like just 8 days after, which was kind of crazy. I never ever thought that it would happen that fast for me. All right, so those are the 7 things that I wish I had known before I had my gastric sleeve surgery. And even if I did know all those 7, I still probably would have gone through with the surgery. The only one that maybe would have made me hesitate a little bit is the shots that I had to give. But like I said, it's no big deal. It didn't hurt at all. But just the thought of it is a little bit scary. So I don't want to scare anybody away from getting the sleeve gastrectomy because it has been such a blessing in my life. I'm so thankful that I have this tool to help me. And it really has helped me so much. And all of like the negative things, like the wonky period, the giving the shots, all of that stuff, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. So it would have been nice to know, but now you have that knowledge. Now you know. And still go ahead with the surgery if it's something that you qualify for and think that you would benefit from. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you wish you would have known before your surgery. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That link will be down below as well. I post a lot of different stuff on there in more real time because who knows when I'm going to actually be able to sit down and edit this video. But again, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!